Welcome back. And no, I did not wear this on purpose. So, Taylor Swift is dropping her new album, The Tortured Poets Department, tonight. She announced this album at the Grammy ceremony, which I believe was the song of the year for Antihero when that was first announced. So, this album, of course, is going to be highly anticipated. I did not know this was dropping. I completely forgot it was dropping this week until I saw a couple pages noting that this album was coming out. So, let's talk about Midnights for a second because I wasn't really around when Midnights dropped. So Midnights has a critic score of an 81 and a user score of a 63. So Taylor Swift has been getting a lot of critical acclaim across her most recent output, particularly the higher watermark, and especially for me as well, was Folklore and Evermore, which was more the singer-songwriter folk kind of aspects that really, to me, emphasize the really great qualities that Taylor Swift has as a songwriter. Bring on Aaron Dessner for for executive producing, bring on Bon Iver, and of course the powerhouse of Jack Antonoff and Taylor Swift is still working incredibly well. But with this album here, I wasn't really expecting much, but I feel like this was a more toned back pop experience, kind of the contrast of the explosive and a little bit more energetic kind of pop that we were getting off songs like 1989 and Lover in particular. This one was a more kind of nighttime kind of aesthetic of pop, kind of going the opposite direction. And while there was still some songs on there that did create some really good catchy songs, and it was a very cohesive record when it comes to its sound, it also kind of worked out to a way where it didn't really stick out when it came to the production or really when it came to the lyrics there as well. The only song that I can really think of that did have that lyrical potency to me was honestly Antihero, and I actually still really like that track, even though it's probably been overplayed to death. Thankfully, I don't listen to the radio anymore, so it helps my brain. So, but with this album, it kind of just really is play in the background for me and not that much. So, with the Tortured Poets department, of what I'm expecting, honestly, I'm really not expecting a much of a change of sound to be honest, because this is a very quick turnaround from Midnights, which released in 2022. It hasn't honestly been almost 2 years. It has been a year. You can get a lot done, but when I'm thinking of the Eras tour, when I'm thinking of the Taylor's versions of all the things that are going on all at once, it's hard to really think of how this is going to be distinctive from the rest of her work. And are we going to go in a change of sound? Are we going to change in direction? The Tortured Poets Department name itself honestly gives me like I kind of call it prep school indie rock vibes, which is like Vampire Weekend and like The National, for example. So maybe we get some a little bit more kind of higher brow pop, or maybe a little bit more of an indie kind of aesthetic to it. Maybe we go back to the singer-songwriter direction that we've had across the few albums. I just don't know if there's going to be so much of a tonal shift considering of all that's happened and Midnight's was quickly followed up with this record. So what am I expecting with this thing? I'm not expecting a crazy shift in sound. I'm expecting some good songs, but I'm open to being surprised. And I think Taylor Swift is getting to that point where I'm starting to warm up a little bit more to her music, to her sound, because I'll be brutally honest, Taylor Swift, definitely when I was kind of a little bit more into my hardcore rap setting, like I had to listen to rap and nothing else, Taylor Swift was the least thing that I wanted to listen to. But now, as I'm doing this channel and as I'm kind of expanding my taste a little bit more, I'm kind of open to being surprised to a lot more newer artists and also just to be open to pretty much everything. So, while I'm not expecting a crazy shift in sound, I'm open to a good experience. I'm open to a good album, and I'm open to see some little changes to the Taylor Swift formula. But even if it doesn't change in its formula, this album is still going to sell incredibly well, and Taylor Swift is still the biggest artist, one of the biggest artists of my generation. So get ready for the Tortured Poets department. I'll probably drop a review in a couple of days, and I hope you guys have a good night and have some good listening there.